Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today I'll be talking about 5 overrated players on the New York Jets roster. Last week I talked about 5 underrated players, and now we're going to talk about some players that Jets fans, myself included sometimes, overhype a little bit. But before we get started today, I just wanted to mention that you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. If you haven't already, please make sure to check out the podcast, Just Jets, wherever it is you get your podcast, or right here on the channel. You could also make sure to subscribe to this channel and the Just Jets Clips channel, and when this channel reaches 10,000, I will be giving away a Zach Wilson jersey and 2 different packages from Manscaped to 3 lucky winners. All you have to do is subscribe to both, comment done when you have done that, and I will pick 3 random videos and 3 random people and give some free stuff away when this gets to 10,000. We're almost there. Keep plugging along. Okay, so before I get started, I want to make this clear. Overrated doesn't necessarily mean bad. What I mean by overrated is someone who is rated higher than what they actually are. And what they actually are doesn't necessarily have to mean bad. So before you put me up on the cross for some of these guys, just remember that. And this first guy who's going to be on my list is someone who I've fell victim to overrating him probably the last 2 years, and depending on what happens this year, it could be 3 years in a row, and that is Chris Herndon, the tight end on this New York Jets team. So why is he overrated? Well, Jets fans are looking at a 10-game stretch in 2018, which is now almost 3 years ago, of production where they thought, okay, this guy is going to do something. In 2019, really only played 1 game, didn't have much of a role at all in that 1 game. Last year, had a pretty regular role, just didn't really do too much. 287 yards and 3 touchdowns. In 2018, his rookie year, which was really, the solid one, 502 yards, 4 touchdowns. But that 10-game stretch I was talking about, he averaged 44.7 yards per game over that stretch. So is he that player, or is he the 200 yards in a season, Chris Herndon? I'm personally not believing that he's a 200-yard player. I think he's better than that, but the point is he hasn't really shown it, which is why fans tend to overrate him. But based on what we've seen versus how some Jets fans talk about him, again, hand up, sometimes I fall victim to this one, he's definitely on the overrated list. This next one, get your pitchforks ready, because I know Jets Twitter loves this guy, Braxton Berrios. Yes, the ever-long debate of how good or how not good is Braxton Berrios. He's the Jets' 6th wide receiver this year. I'm comfortable with that. I think if he is a 5 or 6 wide receiver on your team, that's great. That's right in his wheelhouse. That's where he should be. But I'm not someone who wants him to be my number 3 target or number 4. I think that there are, frankly, on this team, 5 more talented wide receivers than him. And I really don't want to live in a world where Braxton Berrios is either my starting slot receiver or getting significant playing time. He's fine. Again, as depth, sure, that's it. But he's not the second coming. Not every scrappy white receiver is going to be Wayne Chrebet, and that's okay. And I'm not saying he's Chad Hansen. He's better than Chad Hansen. He deserves to be on an NFL roster and have a depth role. And he's a good-looking guy. He has a hot girlfriend. All that stuff is true and makes him easy to root for. But Jets fans, for some reason, love this guy and think he is the second coming. He, again, is a fine 5th wide receiver on most teams, which is, you need guys like that. But that's it. Let's not go talking about like Braxton Berrios going to be this absolute star. That's not what he is. He's not going to be a stud, which is, again, is fine. You need roster players like this, but some Jets fans, man, if you say a slight word of critique of Braxton Berrios, you're going to get stabbed. Another one that's not going to be a popular take, Braden Mann. And no, I'm not saying that Braden Mann is going to be a bust as a punter or that he can't get better, but they've overrated him just based off his rookie year. He was okay as his rookie year. He wasn't great. He was the 20th rated punter by Pro Football Focus. He averaged 43.9 yards per punt, which was 3rd worst in the NFL last year. He averaged 37.2 net yards per punt, which was 4th worst in the NFL. Average hang time came in at 15th, and return percentage of 46.3% came in at 29th. So the numbers don't back it up. He made some good tackles for sure. And yeah, we saw, in college in the highlights of him booming the ball down the field. And I would expect him to get better from year 1 into year 2, as most players tend to do. But to sit here and say that Braden Mann is some top 10 punter in today's game right now, it's just not true. Can he get to that point? I think so, and I hope so. But right now he is at best an average punter. I would put him somewhere probably, I don't know, at best maybe like 17th in the league, best punter, which is okay. It's a punter. It's not going to make or break your season, but I am not, after 1 year, going to put him in even the good category. I think he's okay, which is, again, fine. I'm not getting bent out of shape over having an okay punter, but Jets fans also tend to overrate Braden Mann. Again, he can get better year 1 into year 2. We've seen it, but based off his rookie year, fans have definitely overrated him. Next on my list is Bless Austin. Now, after his rookie year, I thought, okay, maybe he's a diamond in the rough. But in year 2, I thought it was pretty rough, and I still think some Jets fans tend to overrate him. 51-1 Pro Football Focus grade last year. He hits hard, and I think that's his strength, is coming down and making plays underneath. And he comes up, he makes a big hit, and that's noticeable. And fans see that, and they remember that. But he misses a ton of tackles. He had 11 missed tackles last year, 10 yards per completion allowed. He allowed a 65.8 completion percentage and a 97.9 passer rating allowed. Realistically, in coverage, he's not going to cut it. Maybe he could be a cornerback too. I think he's more of like a fourth cornerback coming in as a rotation, which is fine. Again, he's someone who deserves to be on an NFL roster, but he's not a starting caliber corner, at least what I've seen through 2 years. Some Jets fans love him, and again, he comes down and makes big plays every once in a while because he hits hard, but not great in coverage, and maybe that changes if they switch to the zone, but don't know. I think year 2 was pretty rough for Bless Austin. And the last guy on my list, Dan Feeney. Dan Feeney's a legend. You look at him, he's got the mullet, the mustache, he's smashing beers at Islanders games on his forehead. Love him for that. He's a lightning rod, a fun guy to be around. He's just not a good football player, and that's okay. I want to hang out with Dan Feeney. I don't want him blocking for my quarterback, which is fine. Last year, as a starter, at center with I almost said San Diego Chargers. The LA Chargers, he had a 48.2 Pro Football Focus grade. He allowed 4 sacks, 5 quarterback hits, and a whopping 33 pressures. Wow, talk about getting interior pressure. Poor Justin Herbert. That's why the Chargers went out and paid big money for Corey Linsley. If this guy was any good, they would have just retained him for a lot cheaper price, but they brought out their piggy bank and paid big bucks for Linsley. Only 3 times of the 16 games last year, he didn't allow a pressure. So in 13 of the 16 games, he allowed at least 1 pressure. There was a stretch in the middle of the year where he was allowing at least 3, 4, 5 pressures a game. It was getting up there. Dan Feeney is a bottom of the roster guy. You don't want Dan Feeney to have to play significant snaps this year. Again, he's fun. I want to hang out with him at UBS Arena next year. We'll go to the parking lot. We'll crush some beers in the parking lot, go in and watch the Isles beat down on some team. All good. I want to do that. Again, I just don't want him blocking for Zach Wilson this year. So those are my 5 overrated players on the New York Jets. You drop yours in the comments below or get at me on social media. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll talk to you next time.
Wow.